Anime has its fair share of crazy people, such as Light Yagami, the crazy girl from Future Diary, and that bitch from Akame ga Kill. However, they're all obviously psychopaths or sociopaths. But today I'm going to propose a, let's say, hidden psychopath in the name of Hana Somei. So do stay tuned for what I'm going to be talking about and my reasoning behind this. And do make sure to subscribe and like to show your support of the channel, and definitely for the character tier list that I will make once I hit 1,000 subscribers, in which, you never know, Osamu might be an F tier character or an S tier character. You're not quite sure, so be sure to subscribe to find out. Now, as to why I suspect there is a psychopath or sociopath in World Trigger, very much connects to the Katori backstory. Now, for those of you who don't really recall the backstory, it's mostly about the struggles of Katori, but then when talking about Hana, it's about her struggles dealing with her parents and the friendship between the two characters. And sadly, in the backstory, there is a neighbour attack, and both houses of Katori and Hana are destroyed and become rubble. However, Hana decides to save Katori and lift the wooden house. However, she doesn't try to save her parents, which she should have a much more enormous emotional attachment to. And this is where this whole theory is coming from. So there's the backstory if you had forgotten. Now, as to why I want to talk about these really cute and attractive characters, and, you know, shout out to all the Katori stans, but I think Hana herself might be a bit more psychotic. And this is because of a certain post I found on the World Trigger Reddit, and it mentions that if Hana rescuing Katori was due to her more getting revenge, in a sense, on her parents, which I kind of found rather interesting, because my initial thought of the backstory was that Hana, as she is a cool and calculating character, that she just understood that there was a very little chance to save her parents, and that they are probably already doomed, so she took the more logical option and decided to save Katori. However, when we actually look at the relationship between Hana and her parents, there seems to be more than there that could possibly be true, and that it could possibly be an act of revenge. Only if, like, Asahira, the author of World Trigger, wanted to have this whole Wicked Witch of the World Trigger universe, which I'm not quite sure, but it is fun to think about. So let's look at what her parents were like, because this will indicate whether it's reasonable for her to look for revenge upon her parents. So what we know and what we've been told about them is that they were very controlling and were the type of parents with very high expectations, such as making Hana not be able to see her absolute best friend in the world just because she didn't place first on a test. She didn't even fail, she didn't even necessarily do badly, just by the fact that she did not get first place. She could no longer see her best friend, which it's ridiculous, because why would you not want to see Katori? She's cute, she's charming, and I'm getting too much into the Katori bit here. So back to the parents. They obviously weren't the most pleasant of people, but Hana and her cold reasoning decided to work hard herself, because if she motivates herself to learn on her own, she doesn't have to resent her parents, because it's her own problem that she's working so hard, which shows how cold and reasoning and how logical she is as a person. And we get this from the quote, "That's why I'm working on my own, so I won't get panicked when things go that way. Just in case it turns out my parents were wrong in the future, I won't have to blame them." And yes, although my acting and voice sounded nothing like a woman or Hana, you do get the general point of the quote. And if you look deeper into this, she doesn't want to hate her parents. That's what she's basically saying. She wants to motivate herself so she doesn't have to hate her parents because they unneedingly forced her to do the work, which kind of indicates that she might already dislike them deep down. And although this is just a theory and most certainly and probably won't be true, I just thought it'd be interesting to just hint at a slight issue with Hana within this story, because she might actually be a sociopath or a psychopath. Now, I can never remember the difference, so do tell me in the comments, and do tell me in the comments, like, how you feel about the backstory, and if you like Hana as a character, and what do you think about the situation? Do you think this is too deep a dive into the situation, or should I stick to my initial analysis of that she has just understood that the concrete of the house killed her parents and she decided to save Katori because, as she said, the wooden house would be easier to lift compared to the more concrete and brick house that she lived in and crushed her parents. So which is true, I don't know, but it's fun to decipher, and I do thank the person who made this Reddit post because it really made me think a lot about a part of the story that, to be honest, I looked past quite quickly. And this was just a fun little rant video that I wanted to make after seeing that comment. So if you did like this type of video and you want me to make more, do like and subscribe and tell me in the comments. And I will see you next time. So have a good day, guys, and goodbye.